Hello, welcome to Locked on Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. And find you someone who loves you as much as the Sharks love blowing a third period lead, because that's what happened again. Sharks lose to the Devils 4-3 in a shootout. So we'll cover that. We'll cover Timo Meier, Erik Karlsson, continue to do Timo Meier and Erik Karlsson things, and more on today's episode of Locked on Sharks.
You're Locked on Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, because you're at Fear the Fin and San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked on Sharks your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch this on YouTube as well. And stop me if you've heard this before. The Sharks blow a third period lead to lose a game. This is, I think it's the 50th time in 45 games. No, it feels like that though, right? The Sharks continue to play well or kind of, hang in there, especially a top tier team like the Devils. Devils, one of the best teams in the NHL. Really hung in there for a majority of this game, and then they blow a lead late in the third. More specifically, 10 seconds left in this game, that they blow this lead. And it's just, 10 seconds left in this game, right? And it's just what we've seen from this Sharks team. Guess what? It's perfectly fine. The Sharks are going to continue to blow leads this entire year. That's great. Regression to the mean, my friends. At some point, this will turn around and the Sharks will start to hold on to these leads. And we hope that when the Sharks are a better team, all this stuff will even its way out. But this was a pretty weird game, especially with the afternoon start. You had the weird, we're going to end the period. We're going to start our first intermission early and then come back and play with the kick board, whatever thing getting broken. But it felt almost like a game of basketball where you have runs, right? And we saw this where, the Devils jump out to a quick lead and then the Sharks get a run of shots and they kind of control the pace. And then the Devils come back and control it. It wasn't like a back and forth. It was each team kind of taking turns with kind of controlling the pace. And then in the third period, the Devils were able to tie it up at the end. Very, very late, of course. And then, crazy kind of overtime that had a fight. And, I don't think they didn't actually they gave it an unsportsmanlike conduct for each player, not a full fight, but like a little bit of a skirmisher. You don't really see that in overtime. And then, the Sharks lose in a shootout, which I know those guys practice shootouts and stuff like that. And Nick Bonino, Logan Couture, and Alexander Barabanov are the best we can do in a shootout. I know this team is not uberly talented with players, but Timo Meier, please, maybe at least once, maybe. Just anyway. But kind of back to the way the kind of the pace of this game, right? Of each team kind of owning minutes at a time, kind of chunks of the game before kind of going back. And, you go back to the first time these two teams played where Sharks kind of hung in there for a little bit, and then the Devils kind of put the pedal to the metal and took over this game. Again, the Sharks, at least through the first two periods when they had the lead, kind of, it was pretty much back and forth until the third period after the Shark, when the Devils were in desperation mode to try to come back and win this game. Like the Sharks kind of hung in there with the Devils for the most part. And again, it's one game. I'm not trying to, hey, this is going to spark the Sharks run. They've had too many losses and too many of these, hey, yay, we were kind of close type of game. These consolation losses of like, hey, we were kind of close. Like the season's done. We all know that by now. If you don't know that, I'm sorry. The season's done. The Sharks aren't making the Sharks aren't making the playoffs, right? But we're seeing what we're kind of taking away from this game is what I'm trying to take away is when the Sharks have more talent and they have a deeper team, a team that isn't reliant on Erik Karlsson and Timo Meier to do Erik Karlsson and Timo Meier things. I think, or I hope, there's going to be a system. I think the system is in place. I think the eco structure is in place. And when the goaltending, again, back to regression to the mean, right? Sharks got really good goaltending last year on a really, really bad team. Sharks team this year is better, even though in the standings they're not, but the goaltending's sunk them this year. So you hope, the hope is add some more pieces, start to get you get some reliable goaltending or figure out some reliable goaltending. You start to get some of these bounces. Okay. Then you might have something to work with going forward. But yes, it's not the Sharks' year for puck luck and good bounces and holding on to leads type of things. So, but Erik Karlsson, Timo Meier, I can't go further without talking, just continuing to do what they're doing. Another goal and assist for each of those. Karlsson is on pace for 106 points or something like that this year. Timo Meier, again, if he gets hot here for a little bit, could be looking at a potential 50 goal score. The first 50 goal scorer says Jonathan Cheechoo for the Sharks. These guys are the engine to the Sharks right now. And if Erik Karlsson or Timo Meier get hurt and or traded, this team is going to be awful. So, yes, I know they keep losing games. In the long run, this is actually the benefit of the franchise. I know Mike Greer all over the weekend said he doesn't like tanking. He doesn't like purposely losing games, et cetera, et cetera. Fine. He's not going to come out and say, yes, we were trying to. That's how you get in trouble. Go look at his brother, Chris Greer, whose owner got a huge fine, and the team lost their first round pick because they were potentially offering their head coach incentives to lose games, right? You're never, ever, ever going to see a GM come out and say, yeah, we are trying to purposely lose games, right? Even the Blackhawks, they are trying to purposely lose a game, but you're never going to hear the coaching staff or the GM or anybody like that say, like, yeah, dude, we're not trying. Like that's just not going to happen. But for the sake of the organizational franchise, the sake of the franchise, they should be looking at this 2023 draft. And you look at, right, the way this rebuild, this, whatever you want to call it, you've done a really good job of adding these of adding really good pieces, right? Your Bordelots and your Robins, and your Gushins and your Coes and your Ozzy Weisblatts, and then you have a really great piece in William Eklund. Now, if you can add the crown, like that top tier crown jewel piece, the Fantilli or Bedard, God forbid, then your timeline makes sense, right? And then you can kind of work with, hey, the guys we have right now, keep Timo Meier, Karlsson kind of plays like this for a couple of years, Hertl still in the peak, Couture kind of hanging on there, but then you add these guys who can kind of accelerate, and then we can see what this team looks like in a year or two, right? Before we get into the game further and kind of talk about how the lines did, I want to talk about James Reimer, how he's really kind of come on over the past couple games here, really strung a couple games together. Do want to take a quick break, talk to you guys about our friends over at BetOnline. You guys know BetOnline is your number one source for betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. You've got NFL playoffs going on right now. I guess I'm going with the Niners. So go Niners. You've got basketball. You have college basketball. You've got hockey. We're going to have baseball kicking up here right around the corner. They've got you covered over at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, which you do because you're listening to one right now, you can find those at BetOnline as well. They're the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info in. So head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right. So yes, the Sharks lost, shootout, et cetera, et cetera. But, you dig into the numbers, and it was a pretty competitive game against a very, very good team. So 5-on-5 shot attempts, the Devils outshot the Sharks 55-45. Actual shots on goal was 29-46 on 5-on-5. Again, the Devils extra man at the, trying to kind of win the game at the end, right? Also, they won the shots easily in overtime, but not too bad. Scoring chances 30-26 in favor of the Devils, pretty close. High danger chances 13-9 in favor of the Sharks. Expected goals for 2.4 to 1.99. So again, Sharks just slightly, and especially after they gave up a goal in the first shift, they gave up a goal 10 seconds into the third period. Like, if they can start to iron these things out going forward next season, not this year, next season, if they can iron some of these, you could start to see where the Sharks can, start to kind of build on things. So, for the lines, Sharks forwards, Timo Meier, Tomas Hertl, Mikey Eyssimont. Pretty solid day, a couple games here for the Sharks. We're going out throughout Friday's game where everybody was bad against the Oilers. I mean, when you lose 7-1, it's not fair to pin it on. That's just everybody being bad. So that line, though, 12-10, time on ice, 15 shot attempts, 4-11 against, again, the Devils are one of the quickest paced, most shot kind of teams in the NHL. And the Hertl Meier line with Eyssimont, they dominated. Actual shots was 10-5. 10 scoring chances, gave up 6. 5 high danger chances, gave up 0. So, Nieto Couture Barabanov hung in there. About 12 minutes time on ice, 8 shot attempts, gave up 9. 3 shots to 6, so actual shots on goal. 4 scoring chances for 8 allowed. It's just kind of meh. And then 2 high danger, 4 and 2 high danger allowed. Noah Gregor, who I thought had a very Noah Gregor-esque game, right? So him, Sturm, and Bonino played 9:42. 7 shot attempts, gave up 11. 3 shots, actual gave up 8. So this line kind of, struggled a little bit. So, but Gregor, who drew in for Kevin Labanc, interesting to see Labanc kind of going back into David Quinn's doghouse. You thought maybe after kind of the benching and the way he responded, mid-game, maybe things had cleared over. Apparently not. So it'll be interesting to see if and when Labanc kind of draws back in. I would assume he would draw back in against the Stars. Maybe you send the 1-game message. Your play is not where we need you to be, et cetera, et cetera. Just worrisome because Labanc kind of just seems to go through this, and it's Bob Boughner, now David Quinn, where he just kind of gets in the doghouse for stuff. And I don't know with Labanc, because it's like the analytics say he's really good. The eye test says he's pretty good. Like, you watch him, and especially I think playing with Hertl and Timo Meier help a lot, but like he's must be doing something wrong. If he's not trying hard enough, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see. I would be shocked if Labanc is kept out for multiple games. So I would expect him to be back in for the Stars game on Wednesday. But Noah Gregor, I think he made the most of his opportunity. Again, very Noah Gregor-esque game where he gets a lot of he can generate a lot of chances for himself, right? He got a breakaway there with using his speed. We know Noah Gregor go burr for a reason. Like, he's very fast. The poor guy just he can't shoot. And at some point you just gotta realize, like, he just can't shoot. And that unfortunately, just Noah Gregor can't shoot. You almost, like, if he could be like a Matt Nieto type of guy, where it's like, I'm going to be a strong PK guy, I'm going to be a good forechecker, and then I can bury some chances. Like, the Matt Nieto mold is like the perfect Noah Gregor mold, right? Where I'm going to use my speed, I'm going to be very good defensively, and Gregor's probably not going to be not as good defensively as Matt Nieto is, but like, you can kind of see that mold of and then every once in a while, I'm going to bury my chance. I'm going to use my speed, create a breakaway. I'm going to bury my chance. And Nieto's done a good job of that, especially this year, of burying his chances and utilizing his opportunities, especially on the second line. Poor Noah Gregor. He is. He will not be a San Jose Shark next season. I would be surprised if he's back, especially because it already seems like he's frustrated with his usage. The team is frustrated with him not being able to bury chances. So I wonder if they maybe try to sneak him through waivers. This is me. I'm just speaking out loud. Do you send him back to try to sneak him through waivers and go play on the Barracuda for a little bit to kind of soup up that Barracuda? Like, if Noah Gregor was on that Barracuda team, oh boy, goodness. Like, could you imagine Gregor, Bordelot, and Eklund like on a line together? So, and then if he gets claimed, So I don't know. I'm curious what they do with him. Especially, I mean, they're probably going to keep him around because you're going to need him at some point here when you start to trade off some of those pieces, like Nick Bonino, Matt Nieto, et cetera, some of these guys. But you also wonder maybe if a change of scenery for Gregor might be the way to go. So, but yeah, it's, again, you can see it there. If he could just shoot or finish, he'd be the greatest player in Sharks. No, you'd be more excited. You could kind of see him like as a more high end Matt Nieto. And again, people think I hate Matt Nieto. Matt Nieto is a perfectly cromulent third line winger. If you're on a championship caliber team and Matt Nieto is your fourth or third line winger who can play solid PK, can chip in some goals every once in a while, that's great. Matt Nieto on the second line is just, it's because there's nobody else to take Matt Nieto's job right now. And again, one day we'll figure out where he's from. But again, it's nothing against Matt Nieto. It's just he's a exactly what you're getting type of player. And I just, on a team that's lost and not winning anymore, not going to be winning a lot of games, I just want to see some upside. So before we get into James Reimer, talk more about our good friend Erik Karlsson. Kind of look at the defense here a little bit now that we've had some kind of changing of the pairings and all that fun stuff with some injuries. Do want to take a quick break. Talk to you guys about our friends over at Athletic Greens. If you guys don't know by now, Athletic Greens, a great way to kind of take control of your health, especially if you want to work on your gut health. You need more energy. You want to optimize your immune system, but you don't like taking a bunch of pills and vitamins and going to the store and buying all this stuff can seem very overwhelming. That's where Athletic Greens comes in. 1 scoop of their AG1, cup of water, shake it up, you drink it. 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right. And the great thing about it, like, it's less than $3 a day. It's cheaper than going to the store, buying all those vitamins, taking them all together. That's too much work. Has over 7,000 5-star reviews, recommended by professional athletes, trusted by leading health experts. Go check out Athletic Greens. They're going to make it super easy for you right now. Not only when you get it. Go to athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. You get a 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D, especially during the winter now. You need that vitamin D with not as much sun out, now that we've been pelted with rain. You're going to get 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So if you're traveling, you don't want to bring the whole kit and caboodle, they make it easy for you. So again, go to athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, Mr. Reimer probably has 10-ish starts left, maybe. We got 6 weeks, probably 15. So we're in that range, maybe, probably 10. Anyway, really starting to kind of come along. Struggled, I think, before the injury, struggled right after the injury, and that's expected, right? Strung together a couple good games here now, so against some good quality opponents. Outstanding, I thought, against the Devils. I know he gave up 3 goals, but again, you can't ask him to save everything. But all situations, James Reimer, 41 shots. Like, poor man. This poor man needs a long, long vacation. 38 saves on 41 shots, 927 save percentage, 277 goals against, 10 high danger shots against, 10 high danger saves. Mid danger or medium danger, 18 shot against, 16 saves, and then 10 low danger saves on 11 shots. Again, James Reimer, what he's doing right now on this team, he's too good. He's too beautiful for this world. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I know his goals saved above expected this year. It's not pretty. Oh my God, Capo Kakinen's, I haven't checked it recently. His has gotten way worse. His goals saved above expected isn't the prettiest. That minus 7.7, but kind of the influx of what's going on in front of him. Right now we've had some defensemen kind of swapped in and out. And again, it's not like, I think the defense, it's when things go bad, things just kind of go, I've said it before, things go catastrophically bad for this team, right? And, I think James Reimer, though, he has played some good games recently. He's going to have his work cut out for him, I assume. So we'll see if Capo Kakinen gets to start against the Stars, and then it's the Blue Jackets on Saturday, and then I think it's Sharks started their East Coast, so Blue Jackets on Saturday, and then they got the Bruins on Sunday. Good luck. Do you wonder if maybe Capo Kakinen gets to start on Wednesday? Then do you go Reimer? I would maybe go Reimer on Wednesday, Capo against the Blue Jackets, and then I would say Reimer for the Bruins type of situation. That would be what I would do, but I'm just an idiot. So we'll see. But I think Reimer's been playing much better recently in the past couple of games, so hopefully he can kind of start to string some of these games together. Really kind of help to boost that trade value, especially going into the trade deadline. I still think if a team offers you a second, which will probably be a late second, you just call the NHL front off. You just, yes, please. A third, I would, yes, please. Just because, again, Reimer's not going to be here long term, and give him a chance to try to go play meaningful playoff hockey. So as for the defensive pairs, the Corsi numbers are kind of what you would expect. So we have, of course, right now we still have the Carlson-Megna pairing. Carlson, of course, attempts were a little off at 5-on-5. He actually got outshot at 10. He actually had more Corsi against, some more shot attempts against, which is not something you see from Carlson very often, if ever. Megna, Corsi 4 was 20-19. Benning 16-17 for his Corsi 4, 16-19 for Ferraro. Cicek 10-16. Stephen Lawrence took his, but in this game. So, again, we'll see with the pairings. I know Harrington's kind of is out right now. And then, of course, Shimmick is out. Harrington, it sounds like he's kind of more day-to-day. We'll see with Shimmick. I would be surprised if we don't see him for a while, just because, again, dealing with what is presumed to be a second concussion this season. Yeah, those are scary. So we'll see how the kind of the defense continues to kind of evolve and work through here over we kind of know it's Carlson and then everybody else kind of do their thing. So yeah, try to take some positives away. Again, it's exhausting to try to take positive away when you keep losing close games, but we're going to continue to try to do it. I'll be back tomorrow. You're probably actually going to get 2 episodes tomorrow. So Montana Onyebuchi joined me. I talked to him last week. So it's a really fun interview, really, really good talk with him. Really fun, interesting guy. So that'll be out tomorrow. And then we'll probably have a crossover between Dane and I from Locked On Stars to kind of discuss this game, the Stars Sharks game, and kind of what we expect for that. Probably another Stars win because the Stars are really good at hockey. So, but yeah, make sure you guys are following along. Follow me on Twitter at myfryhole. We'll be back to kind of posting clips and stuff like that. I know this weekend I was bad. I just kind of need a weekend off. And then Monday, the game was in the middle of the day at work day. Like I'm at work. I'm watching the game, but I'm at work. So need a weekend off this weekend to refresh. I feel much better. Clips will be back starting Wednesday night. So follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can listen Amazon, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, Google Music, wherever you get podcasts, you can continue to listen. You can watch on YouTube as well. Getting close to 1,500 subscribers. So please, if you have not yet, please do go ahead and subscribe. Really appreciate it. So if you haven't checked out my conversation with Scouch on Monday, where we kind of kick off the draft coverage, you can do that there as well. It's a great episode. It's actually like one of my favorite episodes of the year, kind of the first dig into the draft class. And Scouch is the best. And you guys know, if you've been watching or listening for a while, you know Scouch is the best. So go check out that one from Monday if you have not yet. Again, be back tomorrow, Montana Onyebuchi, and then probably a Dallas Stars preview at some point as well. So until then, bye, friends.